In 1973, a factory in Birmingham produced a washing machine, a hot point. It weighed nearly twice what a modern one weighs. The drum was steel. The bearings were sealed in a housing you could unbolt with a spanner. The motor had copper windings thick enough to see with the naked eye. A man called Arthur Griggs bought it for his wife the week they moved into their council house in Solihull. That machine washed clothes for their 3 children, then their 7 grandchildren, then their first great-grandchild. It was still running when Arthur died in 2014. 41 years, 1 machine, 0 repairs. His granddaughter replaced it with a new hot point. Same brand, same logo on the front. It lasted 22 months. The drum bearing collapsed. The repair quote was £260. The machine had cost £300. She put it on the curb and bought another one. Same name, same factory town, completely different product. And that gap between what British manufacturing used to produce and what it produces now is not a story about progress. It is a story about something being taken away from you, deliberately, by people who calculated exactly how much they could remove before you noticed. But here is the thing. You did notice. Everyone noticed. You just did not have the language for what was happening. Now you will. The word is planned obsolescence. And while most people have heard it thrown around, almost nobody understands how precisely it is executed in modern product design. This is not about cutting corners. This is engineering. Exact, calculated, boardroom-approved engineering designed to ensure that what you buy will fail at a predictable point in time. According to former product engineers who spoke to consumer research groups, the process works like this. A design team builds a prototype. They test it. They find it could last 15 years. Then someone from finance walks in with a spreadsheet showing that if the product lasts 15 years, the replacement cycle is too long and revenue projections collapse. So the engineering team is told to bring the lifespan down, not to make it cheaper, to make it die sooner. They call it value engineering. That is the official term. It does not mean adding value. It means removing material, reducing tolerance, substituting components, until the product hits a target lifespan, usually just past the warranty window. If the warranty is 2 years, the product is engineered to last roughly 2.5 to 3 years. Not because that is when things naturally fail, but because that is when the spreadsheet says they should. And this is where it gets darker than most people realize. It is not just about weaker parts. The real weapon is integration. In the 1980s, a washing machine had a replaceable bearing, a replaceable seal, a replaceable pump, a replaceable motor. Each component was a separate unit bolted or clipped into the frame. When one part failed, you replaced that part. A decent repairman could fix almost anything in an afternoon for £20 or £30. Modern machines are designed with sealed units. The drum and bearing are fused into a single molded tub. The circuit board is proprietary. The pump is glued in. If one component fails, you cannot replace just that component. You replace the entire assembly. And that assembly costs nearly as much as a new machine. That is not bad luck. That is architecture. The product is designed so that repair is economically irrational. You do the maths, you sigh, and you buy a new one. Exactly as intended. And the pattern is not limited to white goods. Kettles used to last a decade. According to consumer testing data, the average lifespan of a kettle sold in Britain today is roughly 2 to 4 years. The heating element is thinner. The thermostat is cheaper. The plastic housing warps faster. 30 years ago, a Russell Hobbs kettle had a replaceable element and a steel body. Now it is a sealed plastic unit with a concealed element that cannot be serviced. Power tools. In the 1970s, a Black & Decker drill bought in a British hardware shop came with carbon brushes you could swap in 5 minutes. The motor was designed to be maintained. According to repair specialists, modern consumer-grade drills increasingly use brushless motors with integrated electronics that cannot be repaired. When the board fails, the tool is finished. Furniture. A wardrobe from the 1960s was solid timber, or at minimum thick veneered plywood with proper joinery. What you buy now from most high street retailers is particle board held together with cam locks and dowels. It survives one move if you are lucky. The material cannot be re-glued, re-screwed, or reassembled because it was never designed to bear stress more than once. But here is what nobody in the industry wants you to connect. The same private equity model that gutted British brands has been applied to British retail. The shops that once stocked durable goods are now owned by firms whose entire model depends on repeat purchase. According to retail analysts, a store that sells you a washing machine every 15 years is a failing business. A store that sells you one every 3 years is thriving. The incentive structure is inverted. Durability is the enemy of revenue. And the manufacturers know this. The retailers know this. The finance companies that offer you buy now, pay later on a tumble dryer know this. The only person who does not know this is the one standing in the shop, thinking they are buying something that will last. And then there is the warranty trick. Extended warranties are one of the most profitable products in British retail. According to financial analysts, the margins on extended warranties can reach 70 to 80%. The retailer knows, based on actuarial data, exactly how likely the product is to fail and when. They price the warranty so that, on average, they pay out far less than they collect. You are betting your product will break. They are betting it will break just after the warranty expires. And they have better data than you. Some manufacturers have gone further. Reports from consumer advocacy groups show cases where firmware updates on smart appliances have reduced performance over time. A fridge that runs slightly warmer. A dishwasher cycle that takes longer. A boiler that throws error codes more frequently after a software update. The product does not break. It degrades, slowly enough that you blame age, and fast enough that you start shopping. So what actually changed between Arthur Griggs's Hotpoint and his granddaughter's? The motor went from copper wound to aluminium. The bearings went from sealed replaceable units to pressed-in components fused to the drum. The control panel went from a mechanical timer, essentially immortal, to a circuit board with a lifespan dictated by capacitor quality. The steel panels got thinner. The concrete counterweight got lighter. The door seal went from a robust rubber gasket to a thinner compound that perishes faster. Each individual change is small. Together they subtract decades from the life of the machine. And the price. Adjusted for inflation, Arthur's Hotpoint cost roughly the equivalent of £600 in today's money. His granddaughter paid £300. She thought she was getting a bargain. She was getting exactly half the product for exactly half the price, engineered to die in exactly a quarter of the time. The maths does not work in her favor. It never did. So what do you actually do about this? You buy like someone who knows the game. First, ignore the brand name and check who makes the motor, the compressor, the core component. In washing machines, look for Nidec or direct drive systems. In fridges, check if the compressor is from a known industrial supplier. The badge on the front is marketing, and the parts inside are the product. Check if components are replaceable before you buy. If the manual does not mention servicing, if the housing is sealed with no visible screws, if the manufacturer does not sell spare parts, that product was designed to be discarded. Walk away. Look at commercial-grade alternatives. A commercial toaster costs roughly double a domestic one and lasts 10 times longer. A catering-grade kettle uses the same power outlet as your home kettle, but is built with a serviceable element and a steel body. These products exist. They are just not in the shops that want you back next year. And check the weight. It sounds absurd, but weight is one of the most reliable proxies for durability in appliances. Heavier means more steel, more copper, more material in the places that matter. When manufacturers cut costs, the first thing that goes is mass. A 1973 Hotpoint weighed almost double what a 2025 model weighs. That weight was not decorative. It was structural. Arthur Griggs never thought about any of this. He did not have to. He walked into a shop, bought a machine, and it lasted 4 decades because that is how things were built. His granddaughter lives in a different economy, one where the products look better, cost less, and are engineered from the first sketch on the drawing board to fail on schedule. The only advantage she has that Arthur did not is information. And now, so do you.